Hello once again, everyone. We are back to finish off Murasaki. Last time we spent, 3.5 hours straight trying to slay Rinko while playing as Kairi. It turns out that it's a bit easier to play as Satsuki in this game, and so winning against Rinko as Kairi was a humongous pain, even by the standards of extremely difficult bonus boss fight and level. Rinko is Dunzo. Hey, Lola. Welcome, welcome. Cheers. So, let's see. Murasaki has the collection menu, which after you reach little certain milestones, you will gain additional insight into the world. And what's fascinating about this is the only source of true information that's trustworthy. Because, as I've mentioned a couple times as we played through this, I don't think there's a single reliable narrator in this entire game. Nobody is doing well. The world is fundamentally sick. Everyone is at each other's throats. And the collection menu directly has said that Kairi has shattered and rebuilt his own brain to be stuck with a smile and positivity. Like, even our protagonists are not trustworthy to give a reliable account of the things that are happening. We've been living in a well, all of us. A line that, damn it, I can never remember his name. The leader of the 12 Magic Spears says. Satsuki. Haiga, thank you. I knew you'd have that right off your cuff, Conley. Thank you. Satsuki is just blank and violent. Anyway, we have the Dream arcade mode to do, sort of a high score gimmick mode. And after we complete enough of the collection menu, we will get an additional cutscene. And when we do that, that will mark the end of our performance with Murasaki. This cutscene seems to trigger when you hit all of the collection hit a specific number of collection items. That specific number appears to be every collection item, assuming you were never possible to beat Rinko. And so I think that boils down to all but 5 as being the magic number. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, we should get feed in a second here. Cha-cha. And sound. There we go. It does look like I left off without reading one collection item here, so... it was both of Rinko's. She behaved as a well-mannered princess, but loved life and death battles. However, she rarely encountered such fights in her position. Even if she set one up, no opponent would face her at full force. Her explosive, dissatisfied urges often turned to her little brother. She was released from her position when the order of the world collapsed and spent each day in the serious battle she had wished for, winning her way up her ranking of strong people. Her power is sealed in her hair ornaments to make fights more enthralling. Birthday, 626. Hobbies, imitations. Likes black and white things, mandarins, the Kokai Ryuto. She found it. Dislikes easy shortcuts. And as a reminder, the Kokai Ryuto is Haiga's sword, which he lost after being metaphorically attacked by a stray dog. The metaphorical stray dog is Ayame, who is apparently responsible for destroying half of the world, but has nothing to do with the story. So if you encounter her, just think of her as being bitten by a stray dog. So, we have a few tasks to get through. it looks like we need to play Dream with Satsuki, get a high score, and survive it a long time. We need to do a bunch of duels. We need to play the last stage and get a high score on it. We need to get a high score on stage 2. And we simply need to play lots of levels as Kairi and Satsuki. And high score in Dream as Kairi. $2 million points, stage 5. So we're doing the final stage again, and let's see if I can also manage to do a high health clear for the bonus dialogue. Oh right, I can't touch blocks. I've been practicing for the next game. In the next game, you are allowed to touch fundament blocks without issue. It always feels weird to go back to the first game after playing the second. And as before, I encounter the musician, and we let the timer run out. Ugh. This gets us a whole lot of points because we're clearing a bunch of bullets and then claiming the fundamental energy off of them. Damn it. Try to dodge between the two and instead I hit both. Well, the high health victory sure ain't happening, but... I interpret the events of this game entirely literally. Just the conversations and motivations behind characters sometimes don't perfectly make sense. And so like the times where there are conversations between characters might need to be taken with a grain of salt. In addition to, of course, the developer being intentionally obtuse, like the bait and switch of Kano, and whether it's the flower or the girl speaking, and how the collection menu is intentionally worded to make you think, oh, Kano, the girl, is the one that escaped from Ni and barely survived, when it was actually referring to Kano, the flower, was a girl that barely escaped and survived. Hasn't the same thing happened before? Okay, let's begin. Just like we did back then. How about you, Yuna? Are you ready? Just don't hold us back, okay? Of course. After all, I've waited a long time for this. That was like the worst position for a yellow triangle to be. I literally can't reach it. Phew. Almost ran out the timer on that one. That was a little scary. This isn't really good enough. Time for things to heat up soon. Let's go, Yuna. Ugh. Was not ready for that. Yuna, are you nervous? No matter how spectacularly messed up, it doesn't affect our survival. Play with all your heart, Yuna. Yes, thank you. I have to show you the fruits of my training. Ooh, that was a good hit. Dangerously low health. Our audience is just 2 people. We've got a terrific audience. Doesn't matter whether the audience is good or bad. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But there's no mistake about this. We've got the people I most wanted to hear this year. Ooh. No. I was so close. Okay. Part of this is, again, I am trying to do a extreme high score run. So I'm playing weird, to say the least. That said, I nearly hit 2 million just off of that, and I wasn't even done with the fight, so... The collection item demands we get 2 million on the stage. And then we learn about the pillar. Since we got some folks new to this game in the chat, I will note the reason I'm hitting the walls on occasion is that instantly brings all the ghostly purple circles, which are points, to me automatically. Boy. Good burst. Terrible. Good burst. Painful, but good. Very good. Awful. Okay, 1 million is what I wanted to hit, and now we are out of opportunity to do that trick. So now we just sit here, because if you'll notice, if we had cleared those bullets, the ones being produced by the quartet, those don't actually get us any points. They just attack the quartet. They riposte. Dong. Hasn't the same thing happened before? Okay, let's begin. Just like we did back then. How about you, Yuna? Are you ready? Just don't hold us back, okay? Of course. After all, I've waited a long time for this. Ooh, nice. Getting distracted, need to look at my character more. Letting my attention get split too much. You know, I don't like this pattern. There. What? Excuse me? This isn't really good enough. Time for things to heat up soon. Let's go, Yuna. Oh my god. That pattern only exists if you do things really quickly. Because this segment is for... This segment is lined up with the music. You only see this while Yuna does that little piano solo. Nice. Yuna, are you nervous? No matter how spectacularly we mess up, it won't affect our survival. Play with all your heart, Yuna. Yes, thank you. I have to show you the fruits of my training. Your reward for going fast is more bullets. Hey, that's good for high scores. Speaking of high scores, We've done it. All we need to do now is win. Our audience is just 2 people. We've got a terrific audience. Does it matter whether the audience is good or bad? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. There's no mistake about this. We've got the people I most wanted to hear this year. The screen obliterator. The trick for this pattern is just stay beneath Tomato. That's all there is to it. No matter how bad things are, they will end someday. Indeed, the present is always the worst time. You know, you're making a face like it's the end of the world. It really is the end, though. Be quiet. Yes, I understand. Now that the bad things have ended, we have to finish too. Let's finish this beautifully. Final pattern. Nice, I was really hoping I hit that 4th one there. A little scared about my time on this. This should do it, though. Hi, Kippers, by the way. There we go. 2 million. Kairi. Satsuki. Seems like you're in a good mood. Why do you think that? You're making that kind of face. Really? Get lost. I'm going to sleep soon. Woohoo! Me too, me too. How long are you gonna sleep? Until tomorrow. What will you do tomorrow? If nothing happens, let's go look at the sea together. I guess the sea is kind of ordinary. Then let's go look at the sky. You sure are quick to fall asleep. Acquired pillar. Pillar. An entity that towers at the center of the sea, which is in itself at the center of the world. Those who try to approach within a certain distance of it will explode. Only a live sacrifice offered once a year is permitted to enter. Many people revere long, narrow items, associating them with the pillar. Let's see, how many zeros is that? 1 million points on stage 2. That'll be our next objective. Stage 2, East Sea Road. Tokaido. You're proceeding along the road east of the sea when your field of view is suddenly closed off. Something seems to be happening nearby, but let's ignore it. Right. Forgot about that. Stray dog jump scare. Damn it. That was a good hit. Thank you, Shiho. There we go. Damn. Missed a bomb pickup. All right. Are you ready to die? I am ready to die. Hey, June. Again, I think it's so incredibly cool and really bold of the developer to design attack patterns that make sense for the person as opposed to just for the sake of the abstract concept of design. Haiga, using that technique of visiting the corners like that, is the same move that Rinko does in the extra stage. Which implies that they learned combat techniques from each other. Murasaki Tsurugi is going to have a lot of that kind of thing too. Can you keep going like this? If our positions were reversed, how would you respond? What's the point of this fight? Awesome solo in the song. Nice. I merely obey orders. You're loyal, continuing to obey a ghost. Is that really all it is? I'll shatter you. Man, it's gonna be close. Trying to get a million points on this. To think it was the two of you who defeated me in the end. Was it fate? Was it inevitable? I'm satisfied. I think we get post-fight bonus from health, please. Do I get a little bit of extra points? No. Yes? No. Unless I go unprotected. I didn't think of that. Does that count? Only when we find out. Maybe we won't do that. Okay, that does give us a little bit of an edge up if we do that. And yes, Unprotected is this game's hard mode, unlocked after you get the true ending, which is reunite the quartet and hear the full performance. Noted. If you bomb a pattern, you don't get any time bonus fundament reward. Also, I just had a realization that I feel incredibly foolish for never having realized until this moment. Why is it that all the stages produce red and blue fundament blocks? Do we know any characters with a red and blue color pattern? The two-player characters, yep. Blue is Kairi's fundament blocks. Red is Satsuki's fundament blocks. I don't know how I only realized that just now. Are you ready to die? I am ready to die. Ha! Nice and quick. Okay, wait for these to burst. Nice. Real clean. Can you keep going like this? If our positions were reversed, how would you respond? What's the point of this fight? I merely obey orders. You're loyal, consider continuing to obey a ghost. Is that really all it is? I'll shatter you. Ooh, total miss. Love to see it. You do not actually love to see it. That's what I needed. To think it was the two of you that would do me in the end. Was it fate or was it inevitable? I am satisfied. We did significantly worse that time. Well, not significantly worse, but... Story B, Part 1. In the middle of a remote, little-known village in E, a hole opened up without any warning. After this, the villagers steadily lost their will to live, until all they did was breathe. The same happened to the visiting trio. Village girl Yuna, the only one unaffected, cried desperately for help with the power of her wondrous performance. Her feelings reached someone. A pair calling themselves Team Fortune came and blocked the hole, and the village returned to normal. Yuna and the trio offered to perform for them as thanks, but Team Fortune declined and left in a hurry, saying that if they could, they would come back to the village 1 year later and see them again then. Ten more stage clears as Satsuki, and 10 more stage clears as Kairi. So I think the thing that cost me the most there was the fact that I used a bomb on the mid-boss. Mediocre. Half mil entering the boss fight. Is that more or less than I've gotten the previous times? Good start. You ready to die? I am ready to die. Beautiful. Oh, gorgeous. Can you keep going like this? If our positions were reversed, how would you respond? What's the point of this fight? Nice. Shut up and fight me. Man, not even close. Getting a high score on this one's rough. Well, nonetheless, this is getting us progress toward what we need, which is a large number of... Okay, that doesn't really help at all. We need a large number of level clears, so... This is getting us progress nonetheless. Hey, Conley. No spoiling my next Monday grab bag feature. Nice. Happy with that one. There we go. I think that'll do it. Are you ready to die? I'm ready to die. Can you keep going like this? Satsuki's such a bastard. Hopefully it doesn't come down to the health bonus. I merely obey orders. Got it. There we go. 12 magic spears. 12 generals who lead an elite strategic group, the Pride of E. 8 of them are deceased. Dream as Satsuki. My goal here is twofold. Get a high score, and also last until the number on the right side reaches 100. If I last until the thing says 100, I probably will be hitting the score thing anyway. Those kind of go hand in hand. Hello, Dream Hyga. Are you ready to die again? Couldn't dream your arm back. Damn. Dreaming of Rinko, that's scary. Don't like this. Damn it, she escaped too. Did a whole bunch of damage to me and escaped. You may notice that I'm only at rank 62 out of 100. Please. No, look at my score. Look at my score. Unreal. The thing that ruined me there is just... Rinko. Rinko stole a lot of health out of me, and I didn't even get the health pickup from killing her. Perish. I will say, I think Kyrie is actually better suited for this game mode because Kyrie is, due to the bounce off of ceiling pattern that Kyrie's bullet has, it stays on screen long enough, which means that you can pull the chasing enemies into it. And chasing enemies are one of the biggest, bar none, the biggest threat of this game mode. Who is it? Kano. Gano. Cold. Sleepers are beginning to wake up. I got hit by one of them, thankfully. Hi, welcome. We are currently playing the arcade mode of Murasaki, and let's see. Our goal is to survive to wave 100 and also get a score of 1 million. Both are very difficult, but I don't necessarily need to complete this because my goal is to reach 90% of game completion, which unlocks a bonus cutscene. Health fella, good. Never give up, never give up. I heard something spawn. Okay, bomb. Would have loved to get extra health, but a bomb is still helpful. I wonder if those counts as clearing a round for these. Score attack challenges don't require you to survive. Yeah, you're seeing stuff a little bit out of order, Lola. Because, well, because this is episode 3, so This is me sort of going between each of the levels and clearing up loose ends. In a way, this is achievement hunting. It's just their in-game achievements, and if you get enough of them, you get a special event at the very, very end as a final unlockable. But this is stage 1. Nope to what, Conley? Oh, okay, yeah. Gotcha. Achieve the high score and you get it. Hello, Kano. Sorry to intrude. You imbecile! Ready yourself quickly! Huh? That's an enemy. I have no intention of getting caught without a fight. He doesn't look like a bad person. You're not going to get devoured. I'll stop him even if it means devouring each other. It's come to this, has it? I'm sorry, I might not be able to protect you. You don't have to protect me, but you mustn't give up. If we had given up halfway, we couldn't have joined up. You're right. Let's make one last flower bloom. Are you alright? Are you alright? I expose you to needless danger. I have no regrets. Whatever lies ahead, as long as I'm with you. Million! And yeah, I've mentioned before that there is a translator. There is a guide for this game written by the official English translator. And it was a very distinct decision to make it possible to interpret the aggressive voice and the kind-hearted voice coming from either version of Kano, it being intentionally unclear which is which. I personally believe Kano the girl is the one that is speaking softly, and Kano the flower is the one being aggressive. But, like Judreal said, it is fun to think about it being the opposite, and this little girl is really aggressive. But it was very distinctly, as a translation perspective, left open to interpretation which is which. Ooh, needed that. I mean, if we're being real here, Kano the flower is also a young girl that is genuinely feeling the anger of 1,000 suns, so either way. We have a young girl filled with absolute rage and fury toward the entire world. It's just whether she's a flower or not. Because once again, say it with me, folks, the sins of the world litany are unforgivable. How do you fare, sir? Great. Once again, I've slightly forgotten the name of this fish, but Kei, Otsu, and Te. I think that was it. But yeah, translates to 1, 2, and 4. Would you like me to tell you a fortune? Hooray! Ba-bum, ba-bum, ta-da! Great misfortune. Such well-trained fish. I guess, if you really wanted to, you could call it that. Why? In the same way that you can call anything anything. Ooh, that was a good shot. Don't you understand? Your former majesty, you are by nature an outcast, a misfit. We similar people should live here together and just spend time fishing. Fishing, that might be good, but I think I prefer swimming. Even if you end up floundering in agony. Damn it. absolutely had the high health victory threshold up until one of the fish spawned a whole bunch of bullets on top of me. Where is it? Oh, I did have it right. Ko, Otsu, and Te. 3 fish that Rururu loves, and has even taught some basic tricks. The fish are experimental bioweapons produced by Ni that have gone wild. They're basically immortal, but will die if they touch salt water. My man named his fish 1, 2, and 4. Oh yes. The names of the worldlets. The 4 worldlets that we have are Ro, I, Ha, and Ni. There is significance to these namings. A couple of different significances, really. Irohani is the first characters, I guess the word for it. First characters in a poem that uses every Japanese character exactly once, while remaining comprehensible. In addition, Irohani can also be sort of interpreted in the same sort of way that do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do is. Musical tones. So you could say that the worldlets are essentially named do, re, mi, and fa. Continuing with the musicality theme. Like I said, though, there's also that poem that starts with those characters. I believe if you look up Irohani, you will find it. Like on Wikipedia. This is actually a point that I had discussed with Dr. Nairi A. Bakalian, who I have associated with prior for the Toho Project streams, in which she is a doctorate in Japanese military history and also an active Shinto practitioner. And so she is thus very, very familiar with Japanese mythology and history. And so I am very honored to be able to bounce ideas off of her on occasion, to just ask a couple of questions to get additional context for those things, to which I can share with you. And then while I'm talking about it, there. There is Nairi's channel. And I should also, right, I'm not allowed to shout out multiple things in a short period. Hishi is also a part of the same community that Nairi is. So give Hishi Setsuki also a follow. Although I cannot directly do a shout out at this particular second. My apologies. Click on that name, give him a follow. Alright, gotta remember how to do this. clear the blocks, clear the blocks, clear the blocks as fast as possible. Clear all of them, clear them all. Okay. No, no, no. Okay, we're good. I said we're good. Please, we're good? We're good. Let's see if I can get the high health bonus. Was it you who disturbed my slumber? You wretched vermin! You're one of those. You're one of those, aren't you? I'll curse you and hex you and hate you and resent you and detest you and envy you, and while I'm at it, I'll conquer the world. Eep. You're a disgrace to your name, Prince. Might still be possible to get high health. Yeah, should be. Dubious now. Impossible now. Hate this pattern. Damn, harsh. The soundtrack is by Watson, who operates under the label MUS. And Mismus, I believe, is a website that has a bunch of royalty-free with attribution music intended for RPGs and such. But Tetsu and Watson seem to work together fairly frequently to make music for Tetsu's games. Ugh, I feel awfully drowsy. Inactivity sickness? Ugh. Can I take one of those wings as a memento? Just one. I'll murder you! That's enough clears with Kairi. So let's go through these. Objective. The world is in danger. To be precise, it's going to explode. You must go to the person who is about to trigger it, to the place where a sad tone rings out. While inspecting a key site, a prince overheard a performance by the quartet and was spellbound. He invited the four to his birthday festival, asking them to perform a piece. He thought that showing the four worldlets in harmony could express his ideals, unaware that in others' eyes, this was seen as an unthinkably reckless act. The quartet gladly accepted for the prince's sake, practicing repeatedly for that day. They were fulfilling days, but just before the festival, a great disaster occurred. The prince was considered dead, and the festival was changed into one for his younger brother. The performance was turned into one that emphasized making use of foreigners. Participating had lost its meaning, yet refusal would be a grave crime. But to protect Yuna and their souls rather than their lives, 3 of the quartet took on this crime and scattered, arranging to meet in Yuna's village on the day of their promise with Team Fortune. But this never bore fruit. They were captured on the way and executed. 20 rounds of Satsuki, clear duels, and one other condition we don't know yet. Let's get spicy with it, why don't we? Since doing this is not actually productive toward any of our goals, as soon as we meet Rinko once, I'll stop regardless of the outcome. I have never gotten a high score win on this stage. Probably should have taken a mental note on what the high score actually is, too. Didn't actually look. 3 million. Okay. You're late. Now, shall we perform? Hey, I remembered. Shotgun then corner. Damn. Unprotected has such a mean start to it. I wonder. That's way better. Damn. Okay. No way. Hello, Hyga. Are you ready to die? I am ready to die. God, bastard. Okay. Can you keep going like this? If our positions were reversed, how would you respond? That's the point of this fight. You tricky little... It's spinning the opposite direction, but it started out looking like it was going to spin the same direction as before. Sneaky. I merely obey orders. You're loyal, continuing to obey Ghost. Is that really all it is? Shattered you. Got him! Just experimenting a bit. So the unfortunate thing here is I have no idea how close I am. Am I at 95 duels? Am I at 73 duels? I haven't the faintest clue. I need to accept 100 duels. And there's no progress meter for it. So I don't know if I'm even remotely close. I would have to assume that I am at this point, but... There is in Tsurugi, but not in this one. But, nonetheless, continue talking, Conley. Interested to hear what you say. Going through the VODs, ugh. Adding up every great and good duel you've completed. I suppose so, that would work. I would give you an approximate number because I don't believe it counts as a good duel if you fail out of it. But since it says except 100 duels, duels in which you die on would not be counted. So the number would actually be a little bit higher than that. Yeah, pretty clever. Yeah, it's not often to die again on a duel specifically. I've certainly gotten a load of duels in by fighting against Rinko, I can tell you that much. Rinko probably accounts for a solid portion of all of them. Could also figure out which level is the fastest. Hey, Trin. We're kicking the ass of a feared warlord who has already lost an arm before meeting us. Here to announce evil. Greatly appreciated. Okay, now that's a funny strat. Shut up and fight me. Two. Remember, folks, Every one of those weird turnip-looking fellows used to be a human. Used to be an innocent civilian of Ni. Really, truly happy for you, Lola. You are among friends here. Because I'm awful at keeping secrets, I would like to note that I have hired Daria Cascado once again to do some audio engineering work for me for the thing that I stream after we complete this game here. Expect some very cool voice work. It's a game I've played before, but there was one thing where I really felt like I didn't do the game justice with my ability to read out some text. And so, I am paying Dare0451 once again to fill in that gap where I couldn't. Oh. Hasn't the same thing happened before? Okay, let's begin. Just like we did back then. How about you, Yuna? Are you ready? Just don't hold us back, okay? Of course. After all, I've waited a long time for this. This isn't really good enough. Time for things to heat up soon. Let's go, Yuna. As a reminder, when you next see the character sprites, take a close look at the quartet's necks. Too close. Yuna, are you nervous? No matter how spectacularly we mess up, it doesn't affect us. Play with all your heart, Yuna. Yes, thank you. I have to show you the fruits of my training. Too close. Get this. Still good. Our audience is just 2 people. We've got a terrific audience. Does it matter whether the audience is good or bad? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. But there's no mistake about this. We've got the people I most wanted to hear this year. Oof, that one's scary. No matter how bad things are, they will end someday. Indeed, the present is always the worst time. Yuna, you're making a face like it's the end of the world. It really is the end, though. Be quiet. Yes, I understand. Now that the bad things have ended, we have to finish too. Let's finish this beautifully. That's gotta be it, right? came. You came just as you promised. I never thought the day would come when we could perform again as a quartet in front of you. Right now I'm the happiest person in the world. Satsuki, be sure to take hold of your own happiness too. Thank you so much. And if you get a high health clear, that low finale image is colored in. Or, no, wait. No, this is just normal ending. Seems like you're in a good mood. Why do you think that? You're making that kind of face. Really? Get lost. I'm going to sleep soon. Woohoo! Me too, me too. How long are you gonna sleep? Until tomorrow. What do you do tomorrow? If nothing happens, let's go look at the sea together. I guess the sea is kind of ordinary. Let's go look at the sky. Sure are quick to fall asleep. Man, still. Music is something I don't really understand, but I accepted their feelings. Back then, when I came back after a year had passed, the village was deserted. We were able to fulfill our long overdue promises to each other. One of the reasons I'm picking this level is because this level gets me 4 duels. In addition, I feel like the high health message for these is, you know, narratively important. It's literally the finale of the game, so. That was close. Whew. Almost accidentally killed that one. Right, maximum health. Close to maximum health. That didn't actually do that much to me. Oh. I thought you'd be here. What amazing deja vu. Come on, we don't have time for chatter. Okay, let's begin. How about you, Yuna? We're starting. Are you ready? Just don't hold us back, okay? Of course. After all, I've practiced quite a lot myself. This isn't really good enough. Should I get serious soon? Let's go, Yuna. I really didn't want to spend 2 bombs there. It's pretty nostalgic, this feeling. Same thing has happened before, right? We need to thank Yuna, the one who drew everyone together. No, I didn't. I was just waiting. We need to give our wholehearted thanks to the ones who brought you all here. Scary as always. Using up all our strength in front of an audience of 2. We're pretty great, aren't we? Maybe, but it's not just the number of guests that's important, right? Yes, I agree. Besides, I'm sure Kairi will accept all of our passion. Super lag. Not long now. All things come to an end. Clinging to something that's end is sometimes I feel good, but we're different. I have no regrets or doubts anymore. I'll just do what I want to do. Fumbled that line read, my apologies. That should do it. I thought it was a dream that would never again come true. For the day to come when we could perform as a quartet again, and in front of you as well. Right now, I'm the happiest person in the world. Kyrie, be sure to take hold of your own happiness too. Thank you so much. Four-color quartet. That's horribly irritating. Yeah. You're right. What is? Your refreshed face. How mean. You're a nuisance, get lost. How mean. I'm going to sleep. Right here. Me too. Do what you want. Are you... Are you really you? Huh? Usually you'd be troubled and pessimistic now. You wouldn't be like this. I guess the answer to that question depends on the definition of my true self. I see. The struggle continues. I'm going to finish this feature today. I am very, very diligent. Could I ask a sudden question? No. I thought the world had abandoned us long ago. Look, she wasn't a bad person. She only left us half dead. It does kind of make you wonder what Satsuki's motivations are here. She is one half of Team Fortune alongside Kairi. And Team Fortune's self-proclaimed goal is to bring happiness to the world. And Yuna's fate will be shared with the world. And so that's why we did the thing with the quartet, is if we don't let Yuna reunite with the other members of the quartet, her despair will amplify, and the burst of fundamental energy will kill everything. But it sort of makes you ask, is preventing the end of the world a kind-hearted and/or merciful act? Or is it just neutral and self-interested? Can you stop the end of the world for entirely self-centered reasons, I guess? In a sort of, the world includes me, and that's the only reason I'm saving it. It kind of makes you wonder if that's Satsuki's actual motivation for preventing the end of the world, is just... Ugh. Duel. 100 duels completed. An act performed by two people who recognize each other's skill after completing a specific ritual. The typical method is to spit out a small amount of blood. After both sides have gained consent, a battle without any particular meaning begins. 50 rounds in total. We just got a couple more rounds cleared as Satsuki, and then we should be at 20 for that. And then from there, all that's left is to do well enough in Dream that whatever requirement the actual number of collection items is procs for us. We will be out of other meaningful things to do. You know it. It's wild. There's a few communities that I'm in that just... the very concept of gel they associate with me. Like, not just, oh, a slime girl. That makes me think of Moo. Just viscous liquid. That makes me think of Moo. The very concept of gel. That's always been mind-blowing to me. Liquid! I think of Moo being kind of similar to water in the sense of it has a bit of stickiness toward itself, but doesn't particularly stick to other surfaces, like water on a hydrophobic surface. Not like water in consistency, though. Speedy slime. I always get a little bit nervous when I'm doing stuff like this on stream, though, because it's like... I can only hide the fact that I'm blatantly just trying to grind at this point. So much, you know? But then I remember that there's folks that do streams like just playing Valorant day in, day out. So, if you want to make this more interesting by making this more conversational, feel free to chat with me. I don't know. Here's hoping I'm a little bit more entertaining than the paint drying streams. Right? Music in this game rules so hard. I guess audiences like the bit. And besides, I guess it's not very common for you to see me, in particular, doing a stream where I'm grinding something. Don't take that out of context, please. Also, I never really noticed. Most of the attack patterns from Kano, you can see it's the flower itself actually spitting out the bullets. You can see the flower pulsate as it spits up pollen bullets. Not always. Alright. Heh. Can't be making mistakes like that. Every bit of health counts. Once again, Rinko hitting me with a big hit, but at least I took her out this time. Oh my god. Did something spawn? Health. Now it's just a mad dash for survival. Yeah. 3 or 4 ain't bad. Happy to see y'all chatting with each other, even if I can't particularly look considering what I'm trying to do here. Not taking that much damage early on. Why must you haunt my dreams so much? I saw that you were talking about favorite final bosses or boss phases, and then I just glance over at chat and see the word Umineko, and I'm like, yeah, the final boss of Umineko is reading all that text. Literacy, the ultimate final boss. I am super locked in. Oh. It's getting too crowded. Full screen nuke. Taiga, good. Taiga's easy to deal with. That's 1 million. Please. Yes! We did it! We did it! We did it! I entered just like a fugue state there. So, the secret to Dream. Every single enemy that appears in this is a threat that becomes exponentially more dangerous the longer it's left on screen. The sleepers will eventually wake up and get a red glow around them and start chasing you extremely quickly. The yellow mid-sized turn-ups will also do this, as you can see, but also when they're killed, they will drop a bubble that will detonate into a big burst of permanent small bullets. And so you want to destroy those bubbles too, as much as you possibly can. Hands are shaking. Library. Togamori. Mamiana. Kairu. Murasaki. What? A dream? That was a fantastic awakening. Now, time to sleep. So. My friends, we have done it. You're finally here. If you called me all the way out here for something trivial, I won't forgive you. I've finally become aware of the truth. And the time has come to tell you that truth. Satsuki. Kairi. This is a very, very important matter. Are you prepared? I'm fine. Hurry up. I'll tell it to you straight. You do not exist. You don't exist. You don't exist. Pressured to its limits, my mind created a separate personality to release itself. That's what you are. A figure with my ideals projected upon it. A symbol of strength. That's why you have many things that I don't. We were originally one being. But now is not the time to be separated. Come on. Become one with me now. Let's work together to save the world. Are you insane? Huh? Yesterday you were saying something about how you're from the future and can see everything. Which one is true? Both. If you're making fun of me by acting broken, I'll punch and kick you. And it's no use laughing like that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I just want to state one thing. I've always been sane. Look me in the eyes and say that. And with that, I am going to go through everything that we have unlocked in the collections menu. No one in this setting is okay. No one is okay. We will go through all the collection menu items. That way y'all have something to digest in between streams here. But I'd say, for all practical purposes, that is Murasaki fully completed. There's a couple bit of story nuggets that you can get, but I believe there is a Steam guide, perhaps, that has all of these written out. Keep grinding. Please. Please, mercy. Please, mercy. And besides, there's other games that I want to get to with some pace, you know? Okay. Okay. Gonna get a drink of water here, and then... Objective. The world is in danger. To be precise, it's going to explode. You must go to the person who is about to trigger it, to that place where a sad tone rings out. While inspecting a key site, a prince overheard a performance by the quartet and was spellbound. He invited the four to his birthday festival, asking them to perform a piece. He thought that showing the four worldlets in harmony could express his ideals, unaware that in others' eyes this was seen as an unthinkably reckless act. The quartet gladly accepted for the prince's sake, practicing repeatedly for that day. These were fulfilling days, but just before the festival, a great disaster occurred. The prince was considered dead, and the festival was changed into one for his younger brother. The performance was turned into one that emphasized making use of foreigners. Participating had lost its meaning, yet refusal would be a grave crime. But to protect Yuna and their souls rather than their lives, 3 of the quartet took on this crime and scattered, arranging to meet in Yuna's village on the day of their promise with Team Fortune. But this never bore fruit. They were captured on the way and executed. In the middle of a remote, little-known village in E, a hole opened up without any warning. After this, the villagers steadily lost their will to live until all they did was breathe. The same happened to the visiting trio. Village girl Yuna, the only one unaffected, cried desperately for help with the power of her wondrous performance. Her feelings reached someone. A pair calling themselves Team Fortune came and blocked the hole, and the village returned to normal. Yuna and the trio offered to perform for them as thanks, but Team Fortune declined and left in a hurry, saying that if they could, they would come back to the village 1 year later and see them again then. Clear 20 rounds with Satsuki. 3 lingering regrets received a jolt from a great power passing by, gaining the energy to take action temporarily. However, that stimulation was also a destructive force, and had they crossed their threshold, they and their feelings would have been shattered into tiny pieces. Through that risky act, 4 small wishes were granted. Kairi, an excellent prince, albeit protected by a great power. His fondness for new experiments turned the old classes against him, and he became a fugitive. Exposed to wandering, Team Fortune, world destruction, and environmental change, his mind chose to restructure before it broke. He created shells to hide his personality and fixed his expression in a smile, but still he presses on. Through his actions, the world's crisis has passed for today, but this is a temporary measure, and its basic fate is unchanged. Go, go, Kairi. Postpone the crisis. Birthday 4-2. Hobbies saving the world. Likes new things and change. Dislikes useless conflict. Associated with the worldlet E. Satsuki, the former number 2 of Team Fortune, a small-scale group that works to deliver smiles to the world. No real hobbies. About average height. Born January 1st. Quick on her feet. Her special skill is speed eating. Always thinking that she'd like to have a long sleep if possible. Through Satsuki's actions, the world's crisis has passed for today, but this is no more than a temporary measure. Its fate is unchanged. Go, go, Satsuki. No matter how tired you are, rub those sleepy eyes. It's thanks to you that half the world remains safe. Birthday 1-1. Hobbies none. Likes none. Dislikes none. Kano, one of the many life forms produced by Ni's top-secret research. She was considered an inferior individual and was to be disposed of, but she miraculously escaped the facility and reached the forest of charcoal. Weakened and without food, she was about to perish there. She called out to a girl passing by, for food, for help. The girl had been abandoned due to lack of food and faced certain death. The girl granted her wish without hesitation, placing her on her head and uniting with her. Even now, the two nestled together, spitting spores. Kano, birthday 2/16, hobbies, chatting, afternoon naps. Likes rain, companions. Dislikes scale insects, hats. Associated with Ni. Hyuga, ranked first in the 12 magic spears, E's once prosperous strategic group. He led an army of dragons to invade nearby regions and was always feared. His abilities showed their power when serving a powerful master, but now he has no master to serve nor homeland to fear him. He survived on the border of Ro, storing up power. Leading an elite team and wielding the Kokai Ryuto, he attacked the pillar at the center of the world. But on their way there, they were bitten by a dog and scattered. And in the midst of this, who should appear but... Birthday, 9/17. Hobbies, journal writing. Likes, firm organization, rice dumplings, and bean paste. Dislikes, people who disturb order. Rururu, a taster from a water clan that lived near the world center. The clan's job was to warn of disasters in the world by observing water currents. The taster would be isolated in the uppermost stream and taste the water, but one day bitter water killed most of the clan. Rururu's constitution has changed after years of tasting thick water, and he didn't notice the poison. His life continued just as before, with a few changes arising. He found some goldfish, and he sheltered a fleeing red-haired woman for a day, and taught her to fish. Birthday, 6/28. Hobbies, fishing for crayfish. Likes hot water, dislikes noise, associated with E. Kozio, the daughter of a ruined family whose status and wealth came from a well of energy. Its value slumped due to E's energy agency, and they went bankrupt. She lost her parents, but ironically kept her house, as the land was now cheap. Kozio swore to restore it herself. However, Kozio's mind was soon absorbed by the well, until all she did was breathe. The cocoon she formed to protect herself ties her to this world. It is filled with rage, not at her fate or the energy that toyed with the former borderland owners, but at her own impotence. Birthday, 10/20. Hobbies, searching for rare plants. Likes cats, rice crackers. Dislikes foxes, adults. Associated with E. Yuna, a poor girl in a poor village. Yuna had one pleasure, sneaking out of the village and playing a blue instrument left behind the mountain. She continued to create music alone, never letting anyone hear. One day she was performing as usual when 3 people passed by. They all got along well and began to perform as a quartet sometimes. Though they didn't have a single listener, Yuna was content. But one day the trio disappeared, saying that they should play together again someday. Yuna continues to wait for a day which will never come. Yuna, birthday, 12/16. Hobbies, performing. Likes everybody smiles, radishes. Dislikes farewells. Associated with E. Rinko. She behaved as a well-mannered princess but loved life and death battles. However, she rarely encountered such fights in her position. Even if she set one up, no opponent would face her at full force. Her explosive, dissatisfied urges often turned to her little brother. She was released from her position when the order of the world collapsed and spent each day in the serious battles she had wished for, winning her way up her ranking of strong people. Her power is sealed in her hair ornaments to make fights more enthralling. Birthday, 6/26. Hobbies, imitations. Likes black and white things, mandarins, the Kokai Ryuto. She found it. Dislikes easy shortcuts, associated with E. An instrument. The soul of a certain performer. They received life as a man, grew up as a woman, and lived as both. They earned a daily income through performing their lovely voice, which had the power of both sexes. Follows along behind you, as though they feel some kind of regret. A soul of a certain performer. This genius artist realized that she could not surpass her own past images and exchanged her brush for an instrument after hearing a performance in a corner of town. Follows along behind you, as though it has some regret. The soul of a certain performer. He abandoned fame and fortune, choosing freedom and hunger. He and his companions became fugitives, but he was captured the soonest. Follows along behind you, as though it has some regret. Kusagi. His parents gained their status through music, and he too chose that path. His talents were recognized, but one day something felt wrong. He was not creating, only killing himself to fulfill the desires of clients and being compensated in gold. He left abruptly on a journey. Birthday, 2/24. Hobbies, outdoor naps. Likes the period after rain. Dislikes weather turning cloudy. Associated with Ro. Tomato. Called the genius artist since childhood, she reached great popularity, but one day she could no longer move her brush and vanished from center stage after coming across a clumsy, nameless painting. She had no hope of ever painting a picture in pure enjoyment like this. Birthday, 8/10. Hobbies, keeping fit. Likes effort, persimmons, and the queen. Dislikes things that aren't a matter of effort. Associated with hope-filled Ha. Shiho. Shiho's poor parents raised him as a girl to keep him from becoming a specimen for Ni's experiments. Before the lie reached its limits, Shiho destroyed his own testes and passed the inspection safely. But later, girls were targeted as specimens too, and Shiho fled. Shiho. Birthday, 8/26. Hobbies, gazing at the sea and drifting off. Likes rice balls, the sea. Dislikes unreasonable requests. Associated with Ni. An instrument. A relic of Fundament abandoned at Hopefield. Yuna's performance summoned 3 people who had been walking separate paths, and they formed the quartet, after an incident roughly 3 years ago. Ayame. About a year ago, this elusive being led a troop of Fundament and destroyed half the world. She is the worst of dangers to the world, but she doesn't have much to do with the story, so you needn't worry. If you meet her, just think of it as being bitten by a dog. Star-crowned E. A worldlet with excellent organizational abilities. Kyrie's father's generation were expansionists who stole resources from nearby lands, playing world domination. Kyrie was meant to succeed the throne, but after a dispute, his weak-willed younger brother Kairu did instead. Silver White Row. One of the worldlets has a cold, harsh environment. They value martial arts and are tempered by this harsh environment, so their individual physical and fighting capabilities are extremely high. Many have wild dispositions, and they tend to be poor at cooperating. Hope-filled Ha, one of the worldlets, ruled by a kind-hearted queen. They specialize in moving together under a single command, but are poor at strategy, and E has been encroaching upon them in recent years. Many of them dream of flying. Tree-covered Ni, a worldlet full of rugged forest and diverse creatures. Lately they have been creating bioweapons to oppose their growing enemies. Those who enter heedlessly are said to be attacked and killed by small blood-sucking weapons, so little is known of its interior. Enclosed range, a narrow zone developed by fundamental energy. By giving it stimulation, such as a jolt, you can gather the fundamental energy within this range. Collect energy within the range by bumping into the walls. Special move. Release stored up fundamental energy all at once. How to use. Hold down the special move button for a certain amount of time, then release it. Duel. An act performed by two people who recognize each other's skill. After completing the specific ritual, the typical method is to spit out a small amount of blood. After both sides have gained consent, a battle without particular mean begins. Quartet. A group of performers composed of 4 men and women. 3 of them opposed politicians of E and fled, but were captured. One's ears were removed, one's eyes were crushed, and another's tongue and throat were smeared with poison. They were then executed in a manner symbolizing string instruments, as an example to others. Rainbow colors. There are 4 pieces of music passed down in the 4 worldlets. A brave one, a sorrowful one. The tunes reflect their natures, but there is a shared melody in every song. The quartet wove those together into a single piece. Sea. A large body of water that exists at the center of the world. This water forms rivers and carries its blessings throughout the 4 worldlets. It is no coincidence that the names of E's rulers have included the word Kai, or sea, for generations. Kairi, Kairu. 12 magic spears. 12 generals who lead an elite strategic group, the pride of E. 8 of them are deceased. Ko, Otsu, and Te. 3 fish that Ruru loves, and he has even taught some basic tricks. Again, their names are 1, 2, and 4. The fish are experimental bioweapons produced by Ni that have gone wild. They are basically immortal, but will die if they touch salt water. Fundament. A word that vaguely describes the substrate of the world or those who control it. Example. This world was created by Fundament. Spoken in a hoarse voice. The energy that fills the land and air, which were created by Fundament, is called fundamental energy. Pillar. An entity that towers at the center of the sea, which is in itself at the center of the world. Those who try to approach within a certain distance of it will explode. Only a life sacrifice offered once a year is permitted to enter. Many people revere long, narrow items, associating them with the pillar. Dual messages. My clothes got covered in powder. This girl and I have seen each other before, but she forgot me. How sad. So cool. Hyga was getting better and better. I wonder if I could have one. The red one. Also the black one. If you were always alone, you wouldn't get lonely, but... She just wouldn't listen to reason. I think Cozy should fix that flaw. This scenery, this music, my brain... This was all a calamity of my doing, destruction of my bringing. My heart was struck by your performance that day, and I pressed my unreasonable wishes upon you. Thinking about it now, this may have been troublesome, act merely forcing my own selfish ideals on others. My impulsive actions troubled you, harmed you, and in the end brought about the worst of results. It's always like this. My experiments to change the present and create a better future all backfired. I lacked foresight and the ability to see the bigger picture. You weren't tools, I realized too late. I placed a heavy burden on Kairu through my disappearance. My brother became a puppet, and I couldn't keep him from bringing about the worst of situations. I was so hopeless, but your kind voices called out to me. That alone rescued me. Sister, stop it. Oh, my brain. Rin is my proud older sister, and everyone admires her. Their admiration is limited to gazing from afar. A companion you can depend on, huh? Codependence is one of the forms of strong bonds. Not great, but not bad. This happened because you didn't train your lower body. You'll never die. Huh. I hear that the Water Clan who told of bad omens were often hated. She just wouldn't listen to reason. She's calm down. Back then, when I came back after a year had passed, the village was deserted. We were able to fulfill our long overdue promises to each other. Music is something I don't really understand, but I accepted their feelings. Apparently she's had her eye on me, although I don't know why. Perfecting an imitation without losing yourself is not a simple thing. I admire her quiet gracefulness, wearing extravagant clothes in front of her people. And with that... That is 99% of Murasaki completed. and the end of Murasaki. Forever, I am never playing that again. I'm free. We are done here. We are done here. If you want to know those 3 remaining items in the collection menu, look them up. I'm sure someone has those written down. But I think I may be the only person that has shown that post 99% completion extra bonus scene that raises in the question of what is Satsuki versus Kairi. Where Kairi claims Satsuki is simply a facet and imagination of a version of Kairi that is an idealized version with the capacity for being foolhardy, strong, and bold, things that Kairi himself is completely incapable of doing, versus Satsuki's comparison of, you say the weirdest shit sometimes. Which is true. Are either of them correct? That's what I think is fascinating about Murasaki. A very deeply, carefully considered world with not a single reliable narrator, apart from maybe the collection menu. No person in-game can be trusted. It's time to reveal our next feature. As you can tell from the music that is, I hope, playing. Act surprised. Our next game shall be Murasaki Tsurugi, the sequel to Murasaki released several years later that expands on, and in my opinion, improves on the core ideas behind Murasaki in every way. I can understand liking the storyline specifically of the original Murasaki more, but don't discount Murasaki Tsurugi for being able to, in spite of your expectations, and knowing that Katatema is a developer that will trick you and toy with you a bit. For example, having a stage 2 that instantly kills you with a boss that exists that isn't related to the story. There's going to be stuff like that in this game. Surprises, things you wouldn't expect, weird little hidden interactions. But it's still going to feel like Murasaki. And I think Katatema, aka Tetsu, does a very good job of threading that needle, defying expectations, and meeting them in equal measure. More music, more tragedy, and more grinding. Less grinding for this one, I can assure you that. This one is a lot more reasonable about the collection items, and this one actually gives you progress bars for how much progress you've made toward the collection, so you don't have to guess on whether you're actually making progress. In addition, I think it's safe to say this. Folks, there is an extra stage in this one, and it is a lot more reasonable than Rinko. It's still super hard. It is not lunacy. And so with that, thank you very much for watching this obscenely long episode we have done today. What is the damage here? The damage is almost 4 hours. Yep, that is obscenely long by my standards. I do not know how other streamers do it. I genuinely don't. Although, my endurance used to be a limit of about 2 hours, and I used to limit my streams to being an hour and a half. So perhaps it just comes with practice. Let's write to somebody. Anyways, Murasaki can be purchased on the Steam store. It very frequently goes on heavy discount. And is in fact currently on heavy discount. Nope. Sorry, never mind, it isn't. Was very recently. But this game that I've shown you here is $5 at full price. Or $9 if you also get the soundtrack. Frequently goes on sale for a single dollar. Honestly worth full price, as Conley put in 30 hours. Let's send you all over to... Frankie Pixel Show, who is currently working on artwork for his very, very fantastic horror game called Look Outside. You've probably heard of that. It did rather successfully if you're tuned in fairly to horror or indie. But Look Outside is a absolutely fantastic horror game that goes in a direction that is honestly kind of beautiful. Something has occurred outside.
Tality Havoc just cheered 100 bits.
Thank you, Havoc. The core conceit behind Look Outside is, for a month, there is something happening outdoors.
Tality Havoc gifted 10 subscriptions to the community.
If you look outside, your body is shifted and mutated beyond recognition. Sometimes your mind is too. Everyone who has ever looked outside during this month span has become a monster. Reality is breaking down. And so it's a game about spending 1 month in your apartment block, occasionally wandering out to try and get resources and encountering horrifying things. But what makes the game so special, in my opinion, thank you, by the way, Lady Havoc, is that this is a game about a very unique kind of horror. It's the horror of seeing a bizarre abomination, looking at it, and then saying, "Are you okay? Do you need help?" And praying that it has some sentience left. It is the horror of extending your hand and hoping it doesn't get chomped off. Until next time, my friends. To another place. Phew.